Hello everyone. Today we have Sudeep here with us. Sudeep is one of my oldest friend and one of my best friend, and I really admire him a lot. The way he has grown in his career. So let's talk about his career life today and how did he move from a well-established company to a startup and what all things he learned in his startup environment and what he would suggest to a fresh graduate or a person who is looking to change his company. uh, which option to choose, whether to choose a well-established company or the startup. Yeah. So welcome, Sudeep. So why don't you start with introducing yourself?
Thank you, Preeti, for your great introduction. So let me start about my career life. So I am ENC graduate. So after my graduation, I joined a well-established company which had around 400 to 500 employees. And I joined the company way back in 2013. I joined as a trainee quality control engineer, then later I got promoted to quality control engineer and then senior quality control engineer. So I worked there for about 4.5 years. Then later I decided to choose startup as my career. So I joined a startup company called as Anivale Pvt Ltd. And I joined as senior quality control engineer and now I am the program manager of the company. So it's about now 4.5 years experience. So total I have 9 years of industry experience. So this is about my career growth.
So Sudeep, let's move on to our another question. Why did you choose to work in a startup?
Yeah, it's a very good question, and also again it's a tricky question. So everybody will have the same problem, like whether to go for a well-established company or whether to choose a startup. So what I suggest is, from my experience, it is an individual decision. So what everybody has to do is start thinking about yourself, what you want to become after 10 years down the line, 20 years down the line, 40 years down the line, where you have to reach. Create your visions. Once you have your clear vision ready, then it is easy to take a decision whether you want to go to startup or a well-established company. So once I'm working around 4.5 years in a well-established company, then I started thinking, if I continue my career in the same company, can I achieve my vision or am I in the right direction? Then I started thinking and listing down what is my visions. So what I am able to do it, I'm able to list 5 goals or vision which I want to become as a person. So first one is I want to have a rapid growth in my career. Second is I want to become a more knowledgeable person. And third is I want to be financially strong. And fourth is I want to be an entrepreneur. So this was one of my dream from my childhood. I want to become an entrepreneur. That was my fourth wish. And fifth vision was to become a good mentor. So I always love teaching. So then I started thinking, if I join a well-established company or if I join a startup company, which can fulfill my wish. So definitely these things I'm able to do it in a startup, because startup, we are going to discuss about that.
Yes, it gives a lot of opportunities.
So that's the reason I have decided to choose startup after working for 4.5 years in a well-established company.
So Sudeep, the next question is, did any external factors which affected you or which are affecting you while working in a startup or when you were about to choose to work in a startup?
Yes, definitely yes. External factors, it will come in every field. Nowhere you're working in a startup or in a well-built company or any life matters. When it comes to anything, the external factor will definitely influence. So I also had similar experience. So once when I had to take a decision whether you have to go for a startup or well-built, I decided to choose to go for a startup. Then I was discussing with my family, especially when I'm talking with my dad. He said, okay, it is your decision after all. No, you are happy with your decision, you can go. But indirectly, my dad was talking with my mother, why he want to go for a startup. Already he's working in a company which is having 400 to 500 employees. whether really he want to change a company. Then my mother had to come to me and again start convincing me to stay in the same company, don't go for a startup. And then again I had to convince mom. So these external factors really affected. But luckily I had my brother who is already in a tech field who know more about startup, things like that. So, and then my brother had spoke with my family, but ultimately I had taken the decision to go for a startup because I had some motto. Yeah, so this is one of the external factors. And I have one more funny experience also. In my village, when I go for a function, so usually people will ask, you're working for which company? So I said I'm working for Anivale. Then, oh, Honeywell. The people, no, I got that kind of reaction. Then I said, no, it's not Honeywell, it's Anivale. Still, people are not accepting. Okay, they said, oh, Honeywell, I know that it's a very good company. There are a lot of branches in and around. You're working for which branch? Then again, I had to accept myself. And there were some situations where I did not. I just escaped from answering. I just said Anivale. So that was one more factor.
I think this is kind of situation when I have faced when I initially joined to one of the startup. So my dad is like, it was the startup and it chose only 1 or 2 people from my whole college. But my dad, like, he was so unhappy. He was like, why didn't you get in Infosys? Why did you go? Why are you even going into this startup? So that is like, it was a whole proud moment for my college, but not for my family.
Correct. So ultimately, it's your decision making. After all, you are happy with what you achieve. No, you have to choose the right thing. And one more experience. This actually encouraged me. This actually boosted me. That is when we friends have a meetup. Usually we discuss about our career growth. Then finally, what happened is people will tag me like he is an Indian CEO. Actually, that statement actually boosts myself. If I work in a well-built company, I don't get an opportunity to tag myself with such a big label. So, yeah.
This is like such a nice story, Sudeep. I think it made me laugh also. It made me remind my journey also when I was working in a startup. Yeah, so let's move on to the another question.
Yes.
What are the things you get to learn in a startup environment other than your work requirement?
Okay, there are quite a lot of things. So first one is it's a great opportunity to talk directly with the founder and CEO of the company, and I always have that. So what happens is when you get an opportunity to talk directly, you have the visibility of the company, you have the vision, mission of the company. So what I get is I will have 2 visions. One is my personal vision, along with that the company visions. So the visibility is clear, the plan is clear, so it is very easy for us to achieve that. So that's the one main advantage or something which you can learn when you are in a startup. Second thing is about responsibility and improving the leadership skill. So when you have the vision clear and visibility clear, it's very easy to take responsibility. Here, not only me, every individual in the company take responsibilities. So that's something which everybody can learn. The third thing is you can be a great mentor. So the reason why you can be a great mentor is you know exactly how the product should work or product should behave. So what happens, you can teach this to the entire team. You can be a great mentor to the team. And more importantly, you will be part of each phases of the process. Starting from planning till the sales, you are part of that. Your contribution is important there. You will be living with the product. So, but when you are working in a well-established company, you will have certain role. So I was a quality control engineer. So my role was to test the product and make sure before releasing it will go a bug-free product. But here, my responsibility is not that. My responsibility end to end. So that's the main thing which we can learn.
Yeah, definitely. Actually, in a startup environment, the things you get to learn you don't get anywhere else. There will be like additional to your work requirement. There will be additional things you will get to learn.
Yeah, and also I want to add one more point, that is you understood the core values. So core value of the company, core value of the product, market demand, market requirement, user demand. So a lot of things. It's again always a plus. Working in a startup is always a plus.
Yes. So this is a really nice input from your side, Sudeep. And I do recommend you guys to visit these people's application. It is really wonderful. They have like around 5 million downloads.
Yes.
I think more than 5 million downloads.
We have both apps and games, which
Yes,
is
yes,
performing
exactly.
well in the market.
So please do check if you want to see what are the applications which is developed by Sudeep and the company.
Yeah. Before I want to give a tip. So what I wanted to share with you guys is, you consider your life, your journey. There are ups, there are downs, there are difficulties, there are happy moments, there are memories, there are a lot of things. But ultimately what matters is what you have achieved in your life. As a person, as an individuality, for you, what you have achieved, or for your family, or for the society. So what ultimately matters is that. So what I'm suggesting everybody is, start preparing your vision, start preparing your goal. If you want to become an entrepreneur, if you want to have a rapid career growth, if you want to financially become stronger, you should definitely start taking risk. So unless and until you take risk, you cannot success in the life.
So yeah, as Sudeep told, it depends on what you want from your life, and then decide. And then, as he suggested, start taking risk. If you have some planning, or if you have some idea, okay, I want to become a CEO of some company, I want to become an entrepreneur, then start thinking now. Usually people will have that thought like they cannot do it, but they can always do it if they start putting step towards that. If you sit in a company, do 9 to 6 job, then it is not possible for you.
Yeah, so start thinking innovative, come out of the box, always learn to make difference. So that's the key role. You have to make a difference. That opportunity the startup is always providing us. And I want to give one tip to everyone, that is, stop taking baby steps, start taking bigger steps. Always think globally. That's the one tip I wanted to tell.
This is it for today's video. Thanks a lot, Sudeep, for coming into my channel and giving information about work culture in the startup, and also giving a lot of tips to the freshers or people who wants to join startups. So do you want to say something?
Definitely, and it's my pleasure. Thank you so much, Pvt Ltd, for giving such a great opportunity to come and talk in your channel, share my experience both in startup as well as in MNC. So I believe the tips or the experience what I shared will be useful in one or the other way. But mainly, I want to conclude by saying that it's not about working in a startup or working in a multinational company. It's about taking the right decision at the right time. So according to my vision, I believe that working in a startup will make me to lead to my vision in a faster rate. That's the reason I'm here in startup. So it's up to you to decide to go for a startup or to go for a multinational company.
Depending on your requirement.
Definitely. Based on your vision, based on your goal. Take the right decision at the right time.
Okay.
In your career, right? So before I start giving tip. So, before giving tip, what I wanted to share is, you consider your life. So in your phases of your life, thank you so much, Pvt Ltd, for giving such a great opportunity to share my experience. Definitely, I believe one or the other way, my inputs will be useful to you all. Thank you so much once again. Guys, don't forget to like, share, comment and subscribe our channel. Please ring the bell. Bye. Hurry guys, share the video.